Hey anyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Abhi on Camera, where today we're watching Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Episode 1. This intro is going to be a bit long, so if you'd like to skip through it, then you can use the timestamps in the description below or click about here. It's honestly hard to describe my feelings, how excited I am for Percy Jackson. I've been a fan since I was 6 or 7 years old. I've been a fan, and I was also a fan of Harry Potter. And when Harry Potter got those amazing movies throughout my lifetime, I wanted to see the same happen to Percy Jackson. I wanted to see Percy and Annabeth and Grover and their adventures on the big screen, just like I had seen Harry, Ron, and Hermione. And, that almost happened. The movie happened, and people were excited, and it was horrifying. It was disappointing, and they somehow made 2 of them. But pretty much after that, everyone had given up. I had given up on seeing one ever again. But then Rick Riordan tweeted, the rumor came out, and Rick Riordan tweeted that he was going to work with Disney to make a new show. And here we are. Except I personally have a few more things going on. Because I know Aryan Samadri. I've known him since he was a baby. And I remember the day Rick Riordan put out his casting call for Percy, I called Aryan. I told him, you need to audition for this. You won't be cast as Percy because they're not going to cast an Indian kid as Percy. But I'm telling you, you will be Grover. And he is actually Grover. I can't. It was amazing. Because of him, I got to meet Rick Riordan, which I honestly never thought would happen. I went to the Percy Jackson premiere video, hopefully coming out soon. So it's just a confusing sea of emotions because I'm excited as a Percy Jackson fan to finally get the adaptation we wanted. And of course, like a lot of fans, I have to struggle with the casting choices that were made. I mean, I've been spending years and years saying how bad the Percy Jackson movie, and one of the first things I say is Annabeth's hair color is wrong. And they've casted a black Annabeth. And that took some time to get over with. But then, like I said, I know Aryan personally. And that changes my entire relationship with this show in a way it's hard to explain. At the very least, the only thing I can confidently say is I've got more reasons than a lot of people to hope this show is successful and continues on, not just through Percy Jackson, but come on, Disney, let's make another cinematic universe and bring in the Kane Chronicles and Magnus and the whole Romans. Let's make all of his books happen, no matter how many years that may take. All right, I think I've been talking for long enough. If you enjoy this episode, consider hitting the like button. If you want to see more of my content, consider hitting the subscribe button. And if you don't want to do either, then let's just get into the episode.
It's dangerous.
I love the fact that it starts out with the same line as the beginning of the book. And I want to make this clear now. I've seen this episode twice already. First at the New York premiere, and second at a screening that they held in LA. So this isn't like my usual reactions where it's my first time watching. This time it's the thoughts I've put together over multiple watches. I love this. It's at least a reference to Blackjack, if not actually being Blackjack. There's so many things in this show which just remind me I can't wait to see future books adapted.
But if it happens again,
Blackjack is a cool Easter egg, but it only makes me eager to actually see Blackjack.
It happened again. It felt like
and this is definitely lightened from the book, from the book, because the book had Percy describing all the weird stuff that would happen to him or around him. While this Percy is same in spirit, but he's only really seeing things more than experiencing things.
I met Grover.
and Mythomagic. I love
had
that they
a lot in
brought that in earlier. And Arian.
Because we're both.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep talking a lot to try to get my point, my points off. I'll talk again about the lightning of the episodes, but for now, I love seeing Arian in this. I'm so proud of him. But on the other hand, for me personally, having seen him grow up, it kind of removes a little bit of immersion for me, because I got to go there for the premiere. In his character in a role, I see him playing his character.
Fantasies.
Because he was a hero?
What makes you think he was?
No, she named you after him because he was the only hero to have a happy ending.
Makes you think that she was a monster?
Right? I can't remember when to check on that, but I never did. I like this extra line too.
Because when he was a
Right?
very
It's never exactly stated in the books, but it is something you learn as the books go, right? There are some humans who are the bad guys, Luke, and they're monsters like Tyson, a Cyclops, monster. But no, he's actually the good guy.
managed to find his way to a happy ending.
All right, she does say happy ending.
Control yourself. Do you understand me?
Mrs. Dodds, you have been given a massive glow up. I mean, the Dobbs in the books is like an ugly, crinkly old woman, and
You're ready to hear.
she's got a glow up.
God's have in store for you.
Once again, the movie and this TV show did the same thing where they give him the pen early. And it makes sense, because honestly, the scene where he gets a pen in the book is kind of random. It's like he's about to leave, then Chiron's like, oh wait, let me just hand you this and give you a lesson on it. And I love the pen design too. It's technically supposed to be a plain looking big pen, but I like how they made it just a little special. It still looks plain, but I mean, it's black with the gold, and if you look closely at the gold, it looks like a sword. I don't think you can see that in the show, but Arian has told me that's the case.
Oh, no. Ever stand up to
Doesn't sound right.
I've watched this twice now, and then 3 times now, and she just flies into the water. I don't see if the water actually grabs her. In this, the pen being a warning is very Lord of the Rings. Love the transformation, love the look. Look, I can't say the one in the movie was terrible, but the whole point of the Fates is that they use whips, and the one in the movie did not have arms.
Everyone go back to your
What I've always wondered about, even when I was reading the books, the mist erased Mrs. Dodds. And that's fine, I get that. But where did the new math teacher come from?
by that name.
It's like, did the mist pluck someone off the street? Was there like a backup in hiding? Never understood that part.
But in this
Rick
case,
Riordan
it
cameo.
seems very hard to. I know you think you didn't.
Double meaning that, right? I know you think you didn't. In the moment, Percy thinks, oh, he thinks I'm crazy or something, or lying. But in actuality, Chiron's like, you probably did something with powers you don't know about.
But all them.
Special, I don't realize I am.
I like this too. It's very a modernized version of the story, right? The ADHD and dyslexia and all these problems that Rick Riordan really tried to make. I can't figure out what I'm saying. Rick Riordan, he wrote these books. He made the story in the first place for his children, to help kids like normalize themselves, and you know that these days that's how we describe these problems. Not that they're problems, but that you're like special, you're different. And there's like a different how Percy's just tired of hearing I'm special, I'm different, when actually he's like really unique special in a good way. I don't know if I'm saying this correctly.
I should be apologizing to you.
I could have practiced, but that feels even more ingenuous.
Imaginary poker?
Both the movie and the TV show made Gabe not have a job, even when in the book he was like the manager somewhere, that like absentee manager.
To pick up your welcome home gift.
I love the fact that they brought in the blue food, but again, right? It's like it's not like I think the show is bad or anything. I think it's great. It's more like greed. Like I want to see more of the books. Right? It's not just blue M&Ms, right? It's blue cake. It's blue Coke. It's blue cookies.
Gabe?
This genuinely surprised me. Her yelling his name out loud, the way that she's talking to him right now,
The school?
like the attitude, it shocked me because I was expecting, again, abusive Gabe.
On my way home, I'm gonna go in.
The fact that she's talking like this, the threat she's making right now, that's not abusive Gabe. He said, please. The Gabe we're seeing here is pathetic.
Could you have them?
And I can agree with the fact that, you know, she's got to get away from him, and they're better guys, and eventually she'll meet Paul and all that. But the way the book happens, this man is supposed to be so nasty that he gets murdered by the end of it.
We'll talk at the beach.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, he just gets turned to stone by Medusa's head, but he gets murdered by the end of it. And for the life of me, I do not see how how they will justify pathetic Gabe to get murdered, unless like they reveal that he's actually abusive, and he's one of those types that like nice once and mean the next. Curious here that Kronos appears as a figure, a robed figure with a lamp.
Half their own pieces.
Actually, this is a great time to talk about it.
I tried.
This conversation here is a beautiful example of how they've updated with the times and how Rick Riordan's original goals have gotten
It hasn't
so much,
felt
like, I think better worded. I don't know how else to word it myself, but in the books, they literally use the phrase that like the ADHD is your warrior's instinct and dyslexia is your magic ability to read ancient Greek. And it's like they say, they take these things and make them superpowers. And while that's not
Real to you,
a
but
bad
no one else
thing,
could see.
the way this show is portraying it is so much nicer and so much better, I'd say, other than just calling them superpowers. It's like you're still different, right? These things aren't bad. They aren't like magic superpowers or anything. Yeah, I lost my train of thought, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. Is this? It's a far more updated way of doing this, and I know better people can do this better. I could probably do this better, say this better if I had, you know, written a script.
Like Jesus?
Not God.
That's it's hilarious every single time. Not panicking is really important here, because if it's something that affects the entire show, it's, at least from the first two episodes that I can tell, is that the show has removed fear.
So the important thing is not to panic.
There's a lot of scary stuff that happens, and it's less so in this TV show. I mean, like I read an article about how they toned down Gabe, and like one of the things that they were talking about in the interview was like we didn't want him to be triggering and abusive and to scare people, and that's the entire show, really.
The Mythmagic cards were training. Everything has been training for what's still ahead of you.
The Mythmagic cards being accurate is a change, I think. 24. I love Arden. And thank you, Rick Riordan, for giving the thing underpants. Keeping those unique bits of the story makes this really feel like Percy Jackson. Like this. What could be a really scary moment, you have scored with like more action music, so it's less scary and more like oh no, more tense.
No monsters can cross it.
Yes, it's called Half-Blood Hill. So I just love the shot. You see Thalia's tree just on the top of the hill. Much better than the movie, which was like, oh, let's put the tree in the middle of a forest.
Don't worry, Mrs. Jackson.
I swear I will protect him, but when we have to go save you from Hades, I will absolutely go with him and facilitate
I
that.
gotta go now, sweetheart.
Hello, Minotaur. I can't wait to make a comparison video between this and the movie. And like really, like this, I really want to see like the little design differences between the Minotaur of the TV show and the Minotaur of the movie. More than just the underwear, because I just think that's fascinating. How two different creative teams will take different ideas of the exact same monster. And to be fair, the Percy Jackson show has slightly less budget, but besides that. Oh no, Thanos! I love how the blade appears. Right, like the handle like grows out of the pen, but the blade appears like a shaft of light. Love the choreography of this fight scene as well. Yes. And the way that it ends in just black as he passes out right then and there. The first time I saw this in the screening, I couldn't tell if this scene here was the end of episode 1 or the beginning of episode 2. And this end credits, it's beautiful. Love to have a poster of this. Especially like I said, like I was projected in the sides of the Met on through the entire after party. So I've seen this on loop quite a bit. That was episode 1. I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. Can I mention how much I love the fact that they brought over chapter titles as well? I'm not going to talk too much since I said a lot during the reaction already. But there's something important that even just the first episode really emphasizes. This adaptation may not be as directly faithful as many hoped it to be. I think that's been as obvious since the casting. I mean, a blonde Percy, an African-American Annabeth, and an Indian Grover. That's not what the books describe them as, right? And we'll see plenty more diversity in the casting in the next episode, where throughout Camp Half-Blood. And that's not in the book either, because in the book they talk about how everyone of a certain house tends to look similar because of the godly parent. But you know, that doesn't matter. The point is that while it may not be exactly what happened in the book, what it is it's a perfect adaptation in spirit. Like, this still feels like Percy Jackson. Even if, you know, even if, like, oh no, Percy was supposed to do this, not this. Even if you can nitpick a ton of little details about how they're changed. It doesn't matter. Because in spirit, this is the same. Now I gotta rewatch the next episode too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my reaction. What was your favorite part of this episode, and what do you hope to see in the future? Over here is the next episode whenever that comes out. Over here is a playlist of my videos. And on my face is the subscribe button. Like, comment, subscribe, criticize even. I don't mind. See ya!